A man armed with a shotgun is holding staff hostage at a bank in crisis-hit Lebanon's capital, Beirut, threatening to set himself ablaze unless he receives his trapped savings, according to a security official. The man entered a branch of the federal bank in Beirut's bustling Hamra district on Thursday carrying a canister of petrol. He was holding 6 or 7 bank employees hostage, according to the official, who spoke on condition of anonymity in line with regulations.
A Palestinian prisoner on a protracted hunger strike has been moved from an Israeli jail to a hospital because of his worsening health condition, his wife said. Khalil Awawa has refused food for more than 160 days in a bid to draw attention to his detention by Israeli forces without trial or charge. Dalal Awawa, Khalil's wife, said his condition had deteriorated, prompting Israeli authorities to move him to a hospital on Thursday. Israeli forces arrested the 40-year-old father of 4 in December, accusing him of being a member of an armed group, an accusation that Awawa's lawyer Alam Haddad said his client denies. Awawa now requires a wheelchair and is showing memory loss and speech difficulties, his lawyer said. The case was thrust into the spotlight during last weekend's attacks on Gaza by Israeli forces. Palestinian fighters demanded that Awawa be released as part of a ceasefire agreement that ended the fighting. The Israeli attacks from Friday to Sunday killed 47 people in Gaza.
Sweden's government has decided to extradite to Turkey a man in his 30s who is wanted for fraud. The move, announced on Thursday, is the first case since Turkey demanded that a number of people be extradited in return for allowing Stockholm to formally apply for NATO membership. NATO ally Turkey lifted its veto over Finland and Sweden's bid to join the Western Alliance in June after weeks of tense negotiations in which Ankara accused the 2 Nordic countries of harboring what Turkey says are fighters of the banned Kurdistan Workers' Party (PKK). As part of the deal, Turkey submitted a list of people it wanted Sweden to extradite, but has since expressed frustration over the lack of progress. This is a normal routine matter. The person in question is a Turkish citizen and convicted of fraud offenses in Turkey in 2013 and 2016, Justice Minister Morgan Johansson told Reuters news agency in a text message. The Supreme Court has examined the issue as usual and concluded that there are no obstacles to extradition, he said.
Ayatollah Khamenei made the remarks in response to an earlier letter by the Secretary-General of the Islamic Jihad movement, Ziyad Al-Nakhalah. The supreme leader underlined that the brave resistance of the Islamic Jihad has promoted the movement's place in the Palestinian resistance and has defused the plots by the Zionist regime.
The American household basket has shrunk, as the war in Ukraine and a hike in natural gas prices and even fertilizers has led the prices of various goods and items in the U.S. to increase. Consumer Price Index shows that the price of food has hit the highest numbers since 1970. The Joe Biden administration has been blamed by the Republicans for the inflation, but Biden shifts the blame on the Russian President Vladimir Putin and his invasion of Ukraine. However, polls show that Biden's argument has few supporters among the American people. Republicans say that Biden's $1.9 trillion relief plan has caused the record inflation, but Democrats echo Biden's arguments blaming the COVID-19 pandemic and disturbances in oil and wheat markets caused by the war in Ukraine. A new Harvard Caps-Harris poll survey published in The Hill showed that inflation is the first concern for American voters. AAA data indicate that gas prices have been double since Biden took office in early 2021, lifting the U.S. 51 rows up in the global gas price ranking table. Energy carriers have seen 34% increase compared to the last year in the U.S., with 48% increase for gas, 106% for diesel, 12% for electricity and 30% for natural gas. Housing is another important factor in the U.S. inflation rate, as it accounts for 1/3 of U.S. Consumer Price Index. Housing Index shows 5.4% increase against the last year, with average renting price reaching $4,000 that shows 25% rise. In the meantime, the increase in interest rates has caused the house loans interest to raise, reducing the demand for house which could lead to a recession in housing market. All this has shrunk Biden's approval to the new low of 33%, signaling a critical situation for his popularity. Biden has acknowledged in his speech in Latin American Leaders Summit that the inflation would last for a while, blaming the war in Ukraine and the private corporations' greed for the inflation. He has said that the US government would intervene to prevent private corporations from manipulating the market.
The Pakistan Navy saved 9 Indian crew members whose ship drowned in the Arabian Sea near Gwadar, Director General Public Relations Navy said Thursday. The incident took place on August 9 when an Indian sailing vessel, Jamna Sagar, sunk with 10 crew members on board, according to the statement. As the ship was sinking, the Navy responded to a distress call and the Pakistan Maritime Information Center requested a nearby merchant ship, MTKRUIBEKE, to provide necessary assistance to the stranded crew of the drowning sailing vessel. The merchant ship eventually recovered 9 crew members and continued voyage to its next port Dubai and onward disembarked the crew, the statement said. At the same time, one Pakistan Navy ship, along with 2 helicopters, also reached the area and located the dead body of one crew member who was earlier missing at the time of the drowning of the sailing vessel. The body was recovered and handed over to Pakistan Maritime Security Agency authorities for further proceedings.
Be aware. With the world. APN. Broadcast Service.